question I've always wanted to ask
Yes.
is, now you've told me how you went to South Africa.
Right.
How did you end up staying for 22 years?
Okay, so in March this year, it will be 1 year that I've been back home, but it feels like yesterday. So every day felt like I just got here. You know, moving up in life, but it just felt like I just got here. I didn't know how 22 years came and gone like that.
What were you doing those 22 years?
Working. Because I have a studio. I was producing artists. I have a restaurant. We had, a lounge where I was working.
Where were you in South Africa exactly?
Well, I lived in Cape Town for a while, then I went back to Joburg. I lived in Joburg for 20 years. Yeah. So I was in Joburg. So it was just different periods of my life where, at some point to be maybe I was working with this project and this person and would do stuff. And the next year I would be on my own project. And I didn't know how 22 years went past. It was just, okay, I will soon before I knew it. And in the interim, I was still coming back and forth to Nigeria. So I felt like, team should be on the more. It felt like I wasn't really far from home. I didn't know that, no, I was not home. But when I woke up last year, and I spoke to Lawi, a friend of mine, you know Lawi, right? I spoke to Lawi, Lawi, I really want to come home. In fact, Dede he's been pushing me for the last 2 years. Come home. Mabiaku. Bros has been saying, come home, don't worry, come home. Because the fear of, hey, where do I start? This is all I do. Music is all I do. But that day came when I woke up and said, you know what, if I don't do it now, I might never do it.
Didn't you feel fulfilled back in South Africa to want to come back home?
Well, fulfillment is in levels. Of course, I felt fulfilled. Winning all these awards and working with all this great. I met Kirk Willem in South Africa. I went to America. I performed with him there. I met Jonathan Butler there. Saw him in America. Every time he would come back to South Africa, I have his number. He would always reach out and say, hey, or if I didn't know he was in town and we met somewhere, hey, bro, you're back. Yeah. So for South Africa was very fulfilling. But, there's always just something about home. You ask yourself, I'm going to be 70 someday. I won't be as active as I am. Will I stay back here? And remember, maybe about 10 years ago, xenophobia started. So they were now letting me understand that, yes, you look like one of us, but you are not one of us. Yes, you have lived with us, you have mingled with us, but that constant reminder was there. After xenophobia, it then began to eat on that, okay, I'm not from there. 3 years ago, I released a song titled Ile. I featured a great Zimbabwean artist, he's late now, Oliver Mtukutse. I said, because Bra Hugh and Oliver used to tell me that.
Bra Hugh, that's Hugh Masekela.
He used to tell me that, Kunle, you can't give us what you are not. No matter how well you play. The same thing Rakayode used to say, Kadolajide, about African and they used to tell me that we need to hear, even though we don't understand what you're saying, you need to speak to us in your dialect so that we can connect. And I tried to do that. But there came a time when that environment seemed like it wasn't the right one anymore because they were not willing to speak in my language. So it needed for me to come back and connect with my people so that they can understand. Then we can go out there and be teaching them and coming back and going back. And it was just the right time. I didn't know how 22 years passed me by, as it were, but it was fulfilling. I am happier than happy that I went. I'm happier than happy that I'm back because every moment for me has just been one adventure to the other and one new thing that I'm learning and all of that. So it's been good.
Because I monitor some of the things you did in South Africa and I realized that you actually were quite busy on the South African scene.
Yes.
You were playing with quite a number of people.
Right.
In fact, this guy that died, you played with him, Jabu Kanyile.
Yes, Jabu Kanyile. Was one of my first mentors. That man was so wise. Jabu Kanyile was so wise. He had 2 wives. He's a Zulu, proper Zulu man. Zulu people are very wise, very stubborn, but unassuming. He would not get into a room and be as loud and boisterous as we Nigerians are. Very quiet, unassuming. But if you sat with him for 2 minutes, the things he would share with you in terms of ideas. So South Africa was really fulfilling. I had a great time working with all the great names, all of them,
Okay, so but you were also coming.
Of
to
course,
Nigeria
I was
to
also coming
perform.
back and forth. Yes.
Why did you? Okay, I would know. I shouldn't say why because some of us, you know, some of us who are Lagbaja devotees,
Right.
we've not forgiven Lagbaja that he stopped playing, and we have not forgiven you that you also stopped playing with him. So what do you say to people like us who?
I would say I'm sorry. If I didn't leave Lavaja, there won't be a Kunle Ayo. If I didn't leave him, it was not going to be a Kunle Ayo because Kunle Ayo only came after I left Lagbaja, after I went to South Africa, found myself, started understanding music in another way, you know, eventing, business side of things, and it really helped me as a person, you know. Maybe I stayed 10 years too long. I could have, honestly, I should have come back 2010, 2012. I think I should have. But I'm not, no regrets. It's okay. I'm back now.